What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is 4 ways British and American people are very different. Who's this one by?
Lawrence.
Lost of a Pond.
No, I don't know why I whispered that.
I was going to say, you whispered. I don't even know if I'd have heard
Lawrence.
you. Lost of a Pond, as you can tell by the thumbnail.
Who still hasn't messaged us to do a collab yet.
Letting us down. We did hit him up on Twitter and he just... Because he had his DMs turned off, so it's hard.
It's too good for us.
To go and spam him. Let him know that we want to check him out. I assume he just missed our DM, but we can't DM him because we're not... I think you have to have a tick or something to DM him.
No, he has to follow you.
Has to follow, yeah.
To DM him.
So spam him.
Spam him to talk to us because, we're nice.
Breaking our hearts. We love Lawrence's content. We don't mind if he doesn't or not. We're only joking. We do love his content, though, don't we? And his links, as always, are in the description below. 4 ways British and American people are very different. I think I have checked this out a while ago, but you definitely haven't.
I picked this one.
Yeah, you picked this one on the list because we're pre-recording quite a few, aren't we? Because we go away to England on Thursday for Easter.
We are going to vlog this time. We actually are going to record a bit this time.
Yeah, we are. We're going to
the
try
areas and stuff. We're going to try our best.
The football match and stuff like that. So,
I think since we've been recording together, we've been there a few times.
And not vlogged.
And we've not. We said we're going to, and then we haven't. But we actually.
We'll try and remember.
We're praying we don't get COVID this time, because then we can.
Yeah, and don't get your hopes up just in case. Yeah. If it comes, it comes. Smash that like button, guys. Smash that subscribe button. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's get straight into it.
Have often been met with TMI, which to my chagrin does not mean tickle me insane, but too much information. Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to people. What could be more important to the foundation of a country than its people, except maybe tectonics? And one thing I can say about British people is we don't generalise, and that's why I'm doing a video called Ways British and American People Are Very Different. Believe you me, everything you hear in this video is absolutely true, except this sentence. Because in truth, it's impossible to get this video right. Both countries are made up of millions of people. No one person is the same, so some of the generalisations I'm about to make about Americans could be true of some British people, and vice versa. It's just that on the whole, pound for pound or dollar for dollar, there are certain things that separate British people from Americans. And having lived in both countries now for at least 100 years, I'm here to tell you what those things are. Here are 4 ways that British and American people are very, very different.
Ancestry, I mean, that's quite an obvious one, I think, isn't it? You know, it just is what it is. Britain was around a lot longer. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing your history, because people do end up bashing no history, but you've got so much jam-packed into the short time, I guess.
Yeah, it's just...
And it's still a long time. But
we were just around first.
Yeah, pretty much what it is.
That's just fact, isn't it? It's not bashing, it's just true.
Just is what it is.
It's just what it is.
But yeah...
I mean, we weren't around. But England was around. I mean, Jersey probably wasn't even around.
No, Jersey was, I think.
It was France. Jersey used to be a part of France before. Yeah. So it was probably part of the France.
Part of like Normandy and stuff like that. But it is one of them. You've had a load of jam-packed history, but obviously the ancestry is going to be different when you've got that many years apart and completely different roots, I guess, from forming the country and stuff.
Funnily enough, the first entry on this list doesn't require any generalisations because it's backed by hard, cold science. And by science, I mean the census. Both countries have them. And from this data, we can determine the cultural backgrounds that make up the people of Britain and America. Let's take a look at each country's top 5 ancestral groups, starting with Britain. Actually, in this case, the entire UK.
Like, Anglo's got to be on there, hasn't it? That's one I can think of.
Anglo-Saxon,
yeah, it's got to be on there, hasn't it?
That's what I can think of.
I can't think of the others off the top of my head.
I didn't really listen to history.
37% of us are Anglo-Saxon, which accounts for how I'm 1,500 years old. 22% of people living in the UK are of Irish descent, and this is not just the people living in Northern Ireland. Irish immigrants have been coming to Britain for hundreds of years, and if they hadn't, we wouldn't have had John, Paul and George, and the Beatles might have been named Ringo. A fifth of people living in Britain claim Western European ancestry. 9%, and I believe this minutely includes yours truly, come from a Scandinavian background, which is definitely why I'm so good at assembling IKEA furniture. 4% of people in Britain trace their ancestry to Pakistan and India. In America, the numbers are quite different, but there are some surprises along the way. Did you know...
I think Irish is quite high. I know I had reacted to this video a very long time ago, so maybe it's ringing a bell. Irish?
I think Mexican.
Mexico, 100, that's probably the most. I think Mexican/Spanish are probably
I was thinking
two
like
highest.
Yeah, Spanish, maybe a bit.
Maybe
Scottish,
a little bit of French as well.
I don't know. I feel like Scottish is.
No, I don't think Scottish will be. I think English will be higher than Scotland. I think, but I think Irish. Obviously, I think Spanish is going to be the number one, isn't it?
Yeah, Mexican.
Spanish, Mexican, that kind of culture, and then Irish.
African,
I think. I don't know, actually. Maybe. We'll see. Well, let's just find out.
That in the United States of America, the largest ancestral group... Ancestral? I just said ancestral, which is thankfully not a word, but you can quite imagine what it would mean. In the United States, the largest ancestral group is German, apparently. 13.6% of Americans self-report German ancestry. And if you think that dates back to either of the world wars, that's not entirely accurate. The majority of German Americans came here in the 19th century. So if you encounter any Americans with German sensibilities or facial structure, whatever that means, then that's why. And there's a good chance you'll encounter a German American in one of the cold states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, or the Dakotas. The second largest ancestral group in the United States are African Americans, who comprise about 12.5% of the overall population. And conversely to the German ancestry groups, the highest concentration of African Americans is in the South. And historically, of course, this is largely tied to the fact that many African Americans in the South are descendants of slaves that were kept and later freed from plantations there. And here's a demographic that sets America apart from Britain. It's largely governed by geography, and that's Mexican Americans. 11% of Americans self-reported Mexican ancestry, which...
To be fair, you did absolutely smash that. You did.
I nailed it.
And to be fair, I'm thinking now that Eisenhower, that's a very German name, isn't it? A president and stuff like that. You did. Go on, high five. Well done.
Thank you.
Account for why I read the other day that Cinco de Mayo is more widely celebrated in the United States than it is in Mexico. Mind you might be able to say something similar about St. Patrick's Day. Every March, without fail, Americans turn green.
But
not literally, unless they've had too much alcohol.
Americans celebrate St. Patrick's Day more than Irish people.
I think they do, because it's bigger.
Really?
You got to think,
but bigger.
So they do it more.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're looking like on a scale of the same amount of Americans to the same amount of Irish people, obviously it's going to be, if the country's bigger, then obviously they're going to be celebrated more.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the point he's making.
Right. I'm just saying, if you had 100 Americans and 100 Irish people, I feel like the Irish, I don't know. I feel like Irish people probably one of the big countries that are into their own
I get what you're saying. You're going percentage wise. If you
I'm going percentage wise.
100%.
Obviously, America's going to win. It's the biggest country.
But you say obviously. Let's say if England won the World Cup, there's going to be more people celebrating England than in America.
Well, yeah, because America don't. But
on St. Patrick's Day, there's more Irish people in America celebrating St. Patrick's Day than Irish people in Ireland, just because of the sheer size of the amount of people there. That's the point. You get it?
Yeah, but
I get what you're saying with the percentage.
I'm saying percentage-wise, obviously, if Ireland was the same size as America, then I'd say Irish people would.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
No doubt. Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
But he's just going off the sheer amount of people celebrating.
Yeah.
Which is still kind of mental, the fact that
it's like saying,
a country halfway across the world, in theory, has more people celebrating something which you think you're the country celebrating it. Yeah, because you've run out of
people.
But
you're a small country.
It's still mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like saying if Ireland and America had switched places, so Ireland was now America, America was Ireland. It's like on the 4th of July, Ireland...
If they had Americans there.
Yeah, we'd celebrate.
They had Americans there.
Because it's bigger.
Yeah, if they had Americans there.
I got it.
Because it's not the bigger thing, it's how many of them they have there.
Yeah, I got it.
Because with the England thing, there may be more people, but then people might not care about it. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I got it.
But it's a pretty mind-blowing thing that a whole country's getting outdwarfed by, I suppose, then a small minority in a country.
Yeah.
But it's, like I said, sheer size.
Alcohol that night. And so it's no coincidence that 10% of Americans self-report Irish ancestry. Of course, if you're like me and you're 1500 years old and an Anglo-Saxon, there's a very good chance that some Americans will be quick to tell you that they have a little bit of you in them. Not like that. I just mean a little bit of English, right? 7% of Americans self-reported English ancestry. That was an abbreviated look at the ancestral makeup of both countries. And for not having the time to discuss all groups in this one video, I apologise, but then that would probably be very British of me. Let's take a look at some of the unique tendencies of the people of both countries. If there's one thing that really sets
it's definitely going to be British, so apologetic and stuff like that with the whole I'm sorry for that and stuff like that, so definitely.
People apart, it's how polite they are and how fun they are at parties. And don't worry, I'm not about to extol the virtues of the famed British politeness while asserting that Americans are rude, because that's not my experience. There are rude people in both countries, but that rudeness usually manifests in a very similar way and wouldn't make for a very entertaining video. Actually, it might. Can we put it on the list? The truth is, people in both countries know how to be polite when they want to. The difference here is the manner in which they do it. In my experience, British people will go to greater lengths to let you know that they're listening. What do I mean by this? Well, you're talking to me. Not literally, you're watching a video, but let's say you are talking to me. You're conveying very important information right now, and so in between every single word, I'm going to go, yes, 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 yeah, oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. I'll stop now.
I have a really bad habit on that of trying to show him, I suppose it's a subconscious thing, but trying to show him that much I'm listening, trying to finish the end of it. I have a really bad habit of it.
I have a bad habit of trying to finish people's sentences as well.
Yeah, just like, you figured out where they're going in your head, you're showing your lips and it's like, oh yeah,
but
there.
Usually they just turn and go around and go, no.
I do it all the time. It's like, but it's embarrassing when you go the wrong thing, you feel like an absolute idiot, don't you? But I guess it must be the whole wanting to show you're listening, you invested in the conversation maybe. But we
try too hard.
Yeah, definitely. Make people like us.
That's essentially the way it goes. As a result, the conversation ends up being twice as long, and all of those efforts to display that you were listening meant that you didn't hear a bloody thing. British people are very good at that, and I should know, because I'm very good at that, aren't I? Right. We're also good at adding on tag questions. That's when we make a statement, but in order to not appear confrontational, we add on a little question at the end. So, for example, Marmite is brilliant, isn't it? Americans would never do that. They'd simply state Marmite.
Especially Jersey.
Why do we do that?
Jersey, they say A after everything, and it's like a question. It's like, the weather's nice. A. And it sounded like a question like, come on, do you agree with me?
I don't actually do that though myself.
You don't say much, but it is a very Jersey thing.
It's a lot of the older generation in Jersey do it. I feel I feel like the younger generation, like even from like my older sisters, like 30s, 40s, I feel like people don't say it as much.
No, I agree.
But definitely like the
typical Jersey older person will say A, and I guess it is the same as this, like the reassurance, like you agree, I guess. But it makes me laugh all the time, and then I end up saying it sometimes because I hear it. Yeah,
you were just annoying me and my mum the other day in the car.
I can do it on purpose.
Said, I'm just going to say after everything I say now, and then we were like, James, you can just stop now.
I was having a good time.
Is awesome. That's never going to happen. I remember when I visited home last year and we were in a restaurant and the staff apologised profusely to my wife because I can't remember why, but I remember it not being warranted in the least. The point is, British politeness is often governed by the need to save face. That's not a reference to the A-team. Don't get me wrong, it's also about being friendly, but in America, I think that's all it's about. I very rarely feel like Americans are trying to let me down gently. They just tell me I suck outright. I'm joking. It could be argued that Americans in this sense are just more practical, much like their dress sense. It's hard to talk about people without talking about the clothes they wear. For example, when have you ever seen me without clothes? No, those videos were taken down about 4 years ago. Not by me, by YouTube. On the other hand, it's almost impossible to paint an accurate picture of the clothing choices of both countries' populations. But there are some clothing items you'll see preventing people being naked in one country and not the other. That was really poorly worded. So in America, people might, for example, be recognizable by the fact that they're wearing a flannel shirt, particularly in some of the northern states which have extreme cold, and Germans. Moreover, Americans are more likely to wear sweatpants in public. The sweatpant people, which is an ancestry group that I forgot to mention, sometimes meet up at the gym, but more often Walmart. In Britain, we all just dress like Charlie Chaplin. At least the Charlie Chaplin impersonators do, but there's an emphasis in Britain on style. And this is a luxury that we can afford.
Again, I feel like Lawrence did say it doesn't apply to everyone, but I will happily just wear shorts and a random jumper, won't I? But a lot of people do the whole style, don't they?
Everyone did say, like, on the picture we posted on Community, like, I was dressed up and you were just in jeans and a sweatshirt.
I thought I looked quite good in them jeans.
I feel like that's just the younger generation anyway.
Oh, what? So you're an older generation,
No,
are you?
but no, like older people, you know, they'll wear like those loafers and like chino trousers and shirts and everything like that. I feel like, but I don't know.
It depends where you go. I feel like we were going like for a night out in clubs and stuff like that. It was a bit different.
Yeah, it was a place where I could get away with wearing a dress.
Yeah.
And he could get away with wearing jeans and
pretty much.
sweatshirt.
We weren't going like for a very formal meal or something like that. So yeah, it's completely different. But I guess with the style thing, like you like to be very stylish, don't you, and stuff like that. And you buy most of my stylish stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Let us know in America whether you like to be super stylish or you just happily go out in your joggers or something like that.
Yeah, I don't go out in my joggers.
No,
I've
you
never
wouldn't do
gone out
that.
in joggers. I spend all day in joggers.
But you don't go out.
But I don't go out, and I'll go to leggings. I rarely go out in jeans.
Yeah.
Leggings, but
I'm just a shorts person.
I don't know. I would never go out in joggers.
Let us know
That's
if
just
you
my
would.
personal preference.
Yeah, everyone's different, I guess. So let us know your opinion as well.
Because unlike America, we don't have weather that can kill bacteria. So
Also
depending on where you are, it might not be that unusual to see, say, a woman dressed more or less like Kate Middleton. And that includes Kate Middleton. Of course, we're talking cheaper versions of Kate Middleton's wardrobe, or at least I am. Now, before I get carried away, I do not want you to get the impression that all British people are super stylish, right? I'm doing this video in my underpants.
Look at us.
The thing I would say is that our casual clothes or our comfort clothes tend to be less baggy than they are in the United States. And we probably wear fewer baseball caps and more polo shirts. I told you British people like me don't like to generalize. I think in America, baggy clothes are more accepted because A, there are harsh winters, and B, Americans place more emphasis, I think, on comfort. That's why you'll see Americans way into their 70s still wearing sneakers with jeans. My grandfather-in-law did that all the time, and I think if you saw that in Britain, that person would be considered eccentric. Which, since we're talking about Britain, 50% of the population is eccentric. And if you thought that observation was funny, then you're very easily amused. You put the U in humour.
Well, yeah, obviously we spell it different.
Yeah, we spell it with you, don't we?
Yeah. I feel like it's just completely different banter, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like Americans don't get our jokes.
I feel like it's a bit of both. I don't think we fully get theirs. I think ours is a bit harsher and yours is probably funnier, if that makes sense.
Ours is more we take the mick out of things I think they would find offensive.
Yeah, we like only with mates, but we are very cutthroat.
Yeah.
Stuff you probably wouldn't say to a random person in person, where I feel like American humour is a lot funnier and you could just say it anywhere. Do you think?
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think about that, because I think there is always a debate. I mean, I like either, to be honest with you. But
I just laugh if it's funny.
Exactly, if it's funny, it's funny. But I kind of, from what I understand at least, I think Britain's is more brutal.
Yeah.
Yours is funnier.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments.
Everyone always says, like, when you make a joke, everyone says, oh, you would never get away with saying that in America.
Yeah.
Like, so to British people, I feel like.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, because I think a lot of people do say that.
Especially if you're British. You may recall a while back I did a video on British versus American humour, but this focused on the televisual differences. Today, we're talking about people. There have been numerous times in my life when I've laughed my absolute arse off in the company of both Brits and Americans, to the extent that I can no longer comfortably sit down. But it's hard to deny that British people have a different sense of humour to American people. It's also a little hard to define what that difference is. Americans often write in the comments that they love my dry British humour, and I always find it amusing that we have dry British humour, because we also have wet British forecasts. But when you're talking to a British person, there are two ways that the humour can go. Either that politeness that we talked about earlier goes out of the window and gets rained on, or there arises something known as self-deprecation. In the first instance, a good friend of mine might jokingly remark, "All right, Lawrence, you wanker." I don't know too many Cockney people. Or in the second...
Sounds like the in-betweeners.
Definitely. But that is a common thing, isn't it? We don't...
Yeah, I feel like, especially men, like male friends,
Yep.
they always swear at each other, but it's just funny.
And then
they just find it funny.
And then, like, Lawrence, you could go in a minute, you take the piss out of yourself as well.
Yeah.
And stuff like that with your mates. But it's kind of like, I'll take the piss out of you, but I'll also take the piss out of myself.
Yeah.
Vice versa, so everyone's just kind of having a laugh together.
Yeah,
It's
and it's definitely
weird.
like a one-sided gender thing, because your friends would never say that to me.
Oh, no, definitely not.
But they'd say it to you.
Oh, yeah, we'd
and my
have a
friends
great
would
crack.
say stuff to me that they would never say to you.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like it's
And I guess
in friendship groups.
100%.
In case of self-deprecation, a British person might say something like, I'm Lawrence and I'm a big wanker. That is a terrible example. It's basically when people put themselves down for comedic effect. It's a powerful tool, but it's not a tool often wielded by Americans who, I don't know, maybe they see it as a weakness. I've also found that Americans are less into their toilet humour, and that maybe that means they're more mature. It does mean that, doesn't it? The sweatpant people notwithstanding. Whereas toilet humour is basically how British people communicate. Of course, this was once successfully parodied by Mike Myers, the comedian, not the serial killer. But in America, or at least in the Midwest, my attempts at toilet humour have often been met with TMI, which to my chagrin does not mean tickle me insane, but too much information. On the other hand, I think your average American is pretty good at wielding observational humour. A favourite weather-related saying, and I've heard this in various states, is, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. And they've got a point. Left my laundry hanging outside this morning. Tornado took it away. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below if you've observed some of these characteristics of British and American people.
Yeah, I agree with them.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Yeah, all them ones. Pretty much. They were quite accurate, weren't they? And he explained them well.
Yeah.
And again, on that too much information, I don't think with, like, at least my mates, so there's never too much information thing.
No,
so
not really.
I can kind of get that difference.
And you kind of know where the line is. Everyone knows where the line is.
Definitely.
And even if you cross it, no one cares.
And some, well,
like
in your friendship group,
no one cares.
Obviously, not.
They'll just take the mick out of you for the rest of your life.
Exactly. It's just a good crack. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Let us know what your experience is, because we have talked quite a lot on this, because we had quite a lot to say, didn't we? And we've got different experiences ourselves, so let us know yours. We'll be super interested, because even if we don't like or love Hart, the comments, we still see them pop up, and we try and get through as many as possible. Not always like them, because when we're at work we see them popping up and we check them out, but we don't always have the time to go through and like them all. So please let us know in the comments, because we will probably, I'd say 90% of the time see it. So let us know. Smash the like button, guys. Smash the subscribe button, and make sure you have a fantastic day. Peace.